What's up, everybody? This is VisitJoan, and as you know, The Sims 3 recently had its 10th anniversary. Actually, on the day I'm recording this, the anniversary is tomorrow, but by the time you're watching this, it has already happened. And so I thought I did a special video to celebrate, but I figured to celebrate even further, I could have a couple of That Fateful Night related Sims 3 builds. These builds I was planning to do them in the beginning, but I figured since the timing was right, we could do them as, Sims 3 celebration stuff. I don't know, I'm losing my mind. Anyway, today we are building the Bachelor family home in Sunset Valley from The Sims 3. And what is special about this house is this is the house where Bella grew up. Now, this house is currently owned by Michael Bachelor, and I know what you're thinking, but let me assure you that in That Fateful Night, Michael Bachelor is very much alive and well. And that's because with Bella in her late 40s, Michael would have to be, at the very most, his mid-50s. So it would make sense that he would be alive. However, he's been traveling around the world in a top-secret witness protection program, and I'll get to that in a little bit. But he's the one that owns this house. It kind of is maintained, I think, for him or rented. I don't know. I haven't decided that yet. But anyway, I did make a couple of changes to this house. Okay, guys. You guys, can we talk about Bella's room for just a little bit? Because what the heck was Max's thinking when they made that room? Oh my goodness. I'm just take one look at that and you'll see what I'm talking about, because it does not match Bella at all, or at least the version I have of her. Or just even when you look at Bella, it just doesn't match. People have recreated this room in The Sims 2, and it has a better representation of what I feel like Bella would have been as a child than this stupid room in The Sims 3. Like, oh my goodness. So, of course, I did change it quite a bit. I actually made it Bella's room as a teenager, because that would have been, honestly, the last time she used that room. Well, maybe a little bit as a young adult. But like I said, I'll get into that in a minute. But it kind of reflects, like, teen Bella, and I kind of furnished the house kind of the way it was, because I honestly don't think Michael would have changed it all that much. I really don't know. But anyway, you guys, I did add a laundry room, because the downstairs bathroom was just ginormous. It's like, why do you need that big of a room for a bathroom? You really don't. And, I kind of got the idea from Car Sims. Shout out, go check her out. Yeah, that's what she did. She just cut the bathroom in half and just put it in the laundry room. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to do that, because these bathrooms are, like, so huge. It's kind of ridiculous. And I also did a little bit to the backyard of the house, because, well, honestly, they had a playground. They had, like, little swings, which is really kind of cool, because I have swings in my backyard. That's how I grew up. That's kind of cool. That's how Bella grew up, too. But they also had a slide. Well, Sims 4 doesn't have slides. So I had to improvise. I put, like, the monkey bars there, because that's what they had. So I just had to do this. And while I was building this house, Max has suddenly started favoring stuff on the gallery. And I'm like, okay, what the heck is going on? I am filming this at 9:30 a.m., okay? And I don't know where these people from Max's are, but I know, like, the primary headquarters or whatever is 2 hours behind me. So what the heck are you doing at 7:30 in the morning, going through the gallery favoring stuff? Like, what the heck? I'm just like, oh my goodness, what do you think? I don't know. But anyway, enough about that. I'm gonna basically talk a little bit about what Bella's life was like growing up and stuff like that. The Bachelors were basically, they were a very tightly knit family. They were all friends with each other. They were all on good terms with each other, which kind of goes with all being friends with each other. But anyway, it's just that's what Bella grew up in, and she really kind of wanted that for her family. And, she and Mortimer made that a priority, having, like, a good family home. Honestly, when you look on Sims Wiki, it says, oh yeah, the Bachelor family is upper class. And I'm like, what are you guys calling upper class? Because I know that even in the game, you walk onto a lot and it says, oh yeah, it learns that Bella is rich. And I'm like, they have 3,000 simoleons in reserve. That is not upper class, okay? Upper middle, I'll give them that. But honestly, they are, I would call the Bachelor family middle class. I mean, yeah, they have this, big house, but a lot of people in middle class have, like, big houses, and that's, where most of, like, the value of the lot is in. And, you don't have, like, 3,000 simoleons in reserve and be upper class. Like, no, that's not how that works. So I don't know what the heck you people are thinking on Sims Wiki or Max's or whatever. Wow, this video is just me going, what the heck was Max's thinking? But I did not plan that at all. But, it is what it is. I know. I say way too much. I'm going to try to stop doing that. But anyway, they're just a middle-class family, and Bella's lucky. She is. Let's face it, that's one of her traits in The Sims 3, and that's because she is lucky. But, we'll get to that in a minute. Anyway, the family was basically her parents and her older brother and her. So I'm going to talk about her parents for a minute, and her father was Simus Bachelor. And for lack of a better way to say this, Simus was a control freak. He was, literally had, really, OCD tendencies, and I can make fun of that as much as I want, because I also have OCD. So, but everything in his life had to be just so. Even, the little pieces of clutter in the house, it had to be positioned perfectly. Everything had to be in its place, and you can tell when he's the one that comes out as a ghost and, helps out around the house, it's him, because everything is just so. And I'll talk a little bit about how ghosts work in this world in, the next video. But, anyway, back to him now. He, like I said, he was a control freak. He basically was OCD. If everything wasn't just so, he would just lose it and freak out. And that included, his family. So he basically implemented very strict rules for his family to follow, expected them to follow. And most of that was OCD, but then I know Kari Sim said maybe a part of it was because I'm going to raise my kids right. That's exactly what she said. I think that might have been part of it too. He had very strict expectations, but his children turned out to be great people. And so that kind of worked. And, Bella, she didn't really mind following all the strict rules because, he's her father. She loved him. And she didn't like it when he would freak out. And so she kind of viewed following those rules as a courtesy to him because she loves him, because she doesn't want him to completely lose it. And that's what she does, because it's her way of saying, thank you for putting a roof over my head and providing for our family, and thank you for loving me, and all this other stuff. So it's really just her loving him, and that's why it didn't really bother her that much. Simus was also a journalist, so he probably did know a lot of the prominent people in the town. His wife was Jocasta, and I've heard this name pronounced several different ways. I've heard Jocasta, I've heard Yocasta, I've heard Iocasta. I don't really know exactly what the right way to pronounce her name, so we're just going to say Jocasta for now. But she was primarily a housewife. She did have a part-time job at the bookstore being a clerk, and I'm pretty sure that was to make ends meet. Which is why, again, I say that's not upper class, because upper class people would not be having part-time jobs at the bookstore. No, that's not how that works. But other than that, she was a really fantastic gardener. She had a talent for plants and basically growing the best produce in the whole town. And her backyard has the biggest garden in Sunset Valley, actually. That is not a lie. You look at Sims Wiki, it will tell you that. And she really just, wanted to make sure that her family was happy and healthy, and she would basically have this garden, and they would eat a lot of what she grew in this garden. And when, Simus wasn't around, she was a little bit more lax with the rules. She definitely cared about her family, and that was really important to her. Okay, so moving on. Michael Bachelor. We've known him since the days of The Sims 1. In The Sims 3, he's a teenager, and I don't know, I'm kind of thinking now that he kind of peaked in high school because he was athletic and popular. He is the kind of person, and he still is, but he's the kind of person that becomes friends with everybody, and so he had a lot of friends. A lot of them didn't really live in Sunset Valley because, he would make friends, and he would play sports in high school. He would make friends with some of the rival teams. It'd be friendly competition, that kind of thing. But I really kind of think he peaked in high school because after that, he really didn't know what the heck he was going to do. I think if he had it his way, I think he would have done something in the sports industry or the athletic industry, but that just wasn't kind of a viable career option. And Simus probably would have lost it if Michael had decided to do that, and he knew that. And I kind of just made that up right now, but that's how well you know your characters, when you can make up stuff on the spot, and it sounds like, yeah, that works. But anyway, he wasn't really sure what he really wanted to do. So he took his time going to school. He was kind of like putzing around, kind of lost, trying to figure out what the heck is going on with my life. And then, oh dear God, I should have known I was going to bring this. up in this voiceover, dear God. He met a woman named, yeah, you guessed it, Dina Caliente. I hate this woman, dear God. But I have to bring her up because I have to mention this. Anyway, he was a bachelor for a really long time, and then he met Dina, and they kind of had like a little whirlwind romance that was just like a few months of dating, and then they decided, you know what, let's get married. So they ran off, they eloped, and they were kind of like waiting for the right time to tell their families. But that never actually happened, because before he could say anything, he walked in on Dina committing a crime. And, you know, he was the primary witness of that. And there was no evidence to connect her to the crime at all. She is a master of hiding her tracks, people. Why do you think she got... Okay, I'm not bringing it up. You guys want to know what she got away with? You could read That Fateful Night. Link is in the description below. But they couldn't really connect her to that robbery. And so basically they gave him a choice. They said, okay, you need to go into witness protection. Either you cut off all ties and stay in the United States, or we're going to put you in a program that's going to let you travel the world, but you still get to have contact with your family. And that's what he chose. And that pretty much happened a few years before Bella was abducted. So that's what he's been doing, is he's been traveling the world in a secret witness protection program. Moving on to Bella as a kid. Oh my goodness, she was just so adorable as a kid. Oh my goodness, I remember first time I got out of The Sims 3, and there's Bella as a kid. And my mom actually asked me once, who's Bella Bachelor? And I'm like, Mom, you've got to be freaking kidding me with this, because you read a whole book about her, okay? And you can't even figure out that that's her maiden name. Like, what the heck, Mom? What the heck? She really loved to dress up, and she still does. She really prefers to wear dresses, and it's just because she likes the way they feel. And she probably was the most well-dressed kid in the entire town. And she was very well behaved. Like, again, you know, I think those strict rules that she had to follow, and she followed as a courtesy to her father, did have, you know, an effect, because she turned out to be a wonderful person. She has a high moral standard, a strong sense of morals. She knows right from wrong pretty well. And her best friend is Mortimer Goff, and he's also a kid, and they're the same age. That's why they're the same age in That Fateful Night. That's why I did that. I like that. It's great. I went with that. So basically, she and Mortimer Goff have been best friends since they were small children. And I don't even know if they even remember meeting each other. That's how long they have known each other. You know, they've been close for a really long time. And, you know, her family, especially her brother and her dad, if it had been any other guy, they probably would have been a little, okay, maybe not a little, but they would have been, like, overprotective. But they knew Mortimer pretty well. And they knew that he was a decent guy and he would never hurt Bella. And so they didn't really feel the need to be that protective of it, because, you know, they liked him. They've known him for that long, and so they definitely approved of that. And so actually, when Mortimer knew that he wanted to marry Bella and he wanted to propose to her, he actually went to Simis, not to ask for his permission, but as a sign of respect. And he said, I have every intention of asking your daughter to marry me, and I would like your blessing. And Simis's answer was, what would you do if I said no? And Mortimer said, to be honest, Mr. Bachelor, I'd ask her anyway, because it's her decision. And then Simis said, well, if you were going to do that, then why did you come to me? And Mortimer said, well, I have respect for you, and as a future member of your family, I wanted to do you the courtesy of letting you know my intention. And that was the right answer. Simis was thrilled with that answer. He's like, yes, you have my blessing. Go ahead and propose. And the reason that Mortimer did that is, like I said, not like asking permission, but because he knew that Simis was a control freak. And if Simis found out, you know, that his daughter had gotten engaged and he didn't know about it, he would just lose it. And Mortimer didn't want that to happen. So, you know, it was more of like a sign of respect, saying, you know, I intend to join your family. So they were married pretty young. They got married when they were 20. Actually, Bella was a month away from being 20. But in their case, it worked out. It's not really dependent on like what age couples get married. It really is dependent on the maturity of the couple. And then Bella and Mortimer were really mature for their age, and you know, they really were dedicated into making that relationship work. And so it did work out. And you know, sometimes that happens. There are couples who, date through high school and get married at a young age, and they work out, and that's great. So anyway, guys, I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave a like. I would really appreciate that. Also, subscribe, and that's going to be it for this time. I am going to get up out of here. So I'll be seeing you next time. Bye!